US President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting, telling them help is on the way. It comes as the Iranian regime faces mounting international pressure and condemnation over its deadly crackdown on anti-government demonstrations. According to one activist group, around 2,000 people have been killed in more than 2 weeks of unrest.
This is the reality for some families in Iran, forced to find and identify the bodies of their loved ones in makeshift morgues after a violent crackdown by security forces on anti-government protesters. These images of body bags, too graphic to show in full, are among a limited number of videos to emerge from Iran since a near-total communications blackout was imposed by the regime last week. Today, it is being reported that some international calls from Iran are now getting through, but the regime's international isolation is only growing. In a post on social media this afternoon, US President Donald Trump urged Iranians to keep protesting. Take over your institutions, he told them, declaring that help is on its way. He did not give further details, although the White House has said all options are being considered. The president had earlier announced a 25% tariff on any country doing business with Iran, a move criticised by its largest trading partner, China. The protests in Iran, sparked more than 2 weeks ago by dire economic conditions, have now seen the deadliest response in years. Iran has blamed the unrest on foreign influences and, amid growing international condemnation, has said the country is ready for any action. Kate Varley, RTE News.
Our Washington correspondent Sean Whelan is standing by. And Sean, those comments from Donald Trump saying that help is on the way, what do you think he could be referring to there?
It could be anything, Tommy. A lot of people here have been talking about trying to get more internet access into Iran using the latest Starlink technology that hasn't become available commercially anywhere yet. Apparently it's very lightweight, easy to use, easy to hide from the authorities who are looking for people with any connectivity devices to the outside world. Though it should also be borne in mind that the packet switching technology that underlies the internet was designed to withstand nuclear war, which is why images are still getting out, albeit slowly. So there is still communication going on between Iran and the outside world and internally as well, one suspects. And then there's old-fashioned techniques of communication, people just moving around and trying to communicate as best they can. The other end of that spectrum, of course, ends up with some kind of military strike. But again, people are wondering, what's the point of that? What is the exact objective here? Some allies of President Trump, such as Senator Lindsey Graham, have been talking about attacking the Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran or any of the other security forces that are being used in the clampdown on the protesters in that country. Others have talked about wider scale military attacks, but a lot of counter counsel going on here as well, saying that if the Americans start attacking now, that will probably only entrench regime loyalists, and particularly those who might be wavering, mid-rank officers, for example, who might be wondering where their future lies. If the Americans were attacking, they would then feel compelled to carry on resisting both the American attacks and any kind of uprising in the country, which could be easily painted as American inspired and Israeli inspired. So a lot of things to be decided. Advisors here at the White House were talking to the president this morning. He's now left the White House, gone to Detroit for a visit. So nothing imminent. Tommy?
Sean Whelan in Washington, thank you.
Iran's new ambassador to Ireland has been prevented by the Department of Foreign Affairs from officially taking up his duties here because of the Iranian regime's response to protests in the country. A planned formal ceremony to accredit the ambassador at Oras an Uachtaráin this morning was postponed.
The formal visit to Oras an Uachtaráin is a key moment for new ambassadors. Here they present their credentials to the president, and then, and only then, can they officially begin their work here. Today, the ambassadors of Japan and Pakistan got the president's imprimatur. But in a significant diplomatic intervention, the Department of Foreign Affairs postponed the ceremony to approve the Iranian ambassador. This was in response to the significant number of protesters killed in that country in recent days. In the Dáil, the Taoiseach set out the government's uncompromising stance on the Iranian regime.
We stand with the people of Iran in terms of their right to freedom of assembly, to freedom of speech, freedom to associate, and the need, frankly, for a new form of government in Iran that's democratically based and that facilitates the flourishing of those freedoms.
Today's decision to prevent the Iranian ambassador from taking up their duties got the backing of opposition parties too.
On the face of it, that's an appropriate response at this time until we see the full working out as to what is happening in Iran. But we would have serious concerns for the treatment and abuse and, in fact, the killing of protesters.
I think that's the correct decision by the Department of Foreign Affairs. I don't think that would have been a good idea to proceed with that, given things are moving so quickly in Iran.
The Iranian ambassador designate had previously expressed the hope that he could help strengthen relations between Dublin and Tehran, work that is now very much on hold.
And Micheál is standing by for us now. So this being seen as an appropriate response, Micheál, what is the significance of this decision?
I think it was a substantial move by the government, although the explanation was provided by the Department of Foreign Affairs, a government spokesperson this evening, confirming obviously that this was done with the say-so of the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach, and it was ultimately a bold diplomatic statement. Yes, in some ways it is something of a formality going up to Áras an Uachtaráin, an ambassador presenting their credentials, and the expectation would be that they would be signed off on and they get the green light to officially begin their work. The fact that has been postponed is very significant indeed. Now, government pointing out too, though, that the embassy remains open. Diplomatic relations continue between Ireland and Iran, and you do have an ambassador designate in place, if not a fully fledged ambassador. At the same time, I think it is illustrative of a certain tightrope that government is trying to walk here, and of course they are doing that as that time of year approaches again, and that is the visit to the White House, which the Taoiseach is expected to make in March. Now, there was criticism from the opposition in the Dáil. Yes, they welcomed the move around the ambassador, but they wanted government, some parties indeed, saying they haven't taken a strong enough line at all when it comes to American actions, particularly in Venezuela. So this is going to be something of a delicate diplomatic few weeks ahead for government.
All right, Micheál Lehane at Leinster House, thank you.